Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 09th March 2017. The first article is The Mystery of Police Reform. Here we will be discussing various aspects related to the police reform and Supreme Court directives. And the next article is Gun and Guards, a Lonely Vigil. In this, we'll be talking about forest guards and their state of affairs. And the dire straits, this is about the fishermen issue between India and Sri Lanka. And then staying cool, it is on Montreal Protocol and elimination of the hydrochlorofluorocarbons and what we shall do. So the first article here, the Supreme Court of India has given various directives to the police reform in response to the bill filed by the former DGP of UP, Mr. Prakash Singh. In this, the major things which it has spoken about, one is separation of the law and order from the criminal investigation, and fixed tenure for the police officials, and added to that establishment of a police board or police establishment board that has to decide upon the promotions and transfers of the police personnel. These, many of the states though appear to be aligning, but they are trying to circumvent them in their practice through one or the other novel means. So, the state being a the police being a state subject, the center has minimal to do on this matter. So, again, there is another dimension to this problem. Attributing every failure of the police functioning to the political interference is also wrong. We have to see that there is growing callousness, lack of accountability, and misuse of the power and decreasing motivation across the young officers. It is one of the reason is the political interference, but on the other hand, moral degeneration of the police force is also clearly visible. So this aspect also need to be taken into consideration while police reform is planned across the countries. So police shall not be seen as a force. Police is a responsibility and is a service to the people. So our aim is to build a consumer and citizen centric police service by reforming the police force. Guns and guards, a lonely whistle. Now, if you see the forest guards, their responsibilities are very much different from the other uniformed services. So, if you take police, paramilitary forces, military forces, they get various awards in recognition to their service. On the other hand, the forest guard job is more of a thankless job. They do multitudinal jobs in the office, such as fighting against the poachers, dozing off the fires, forest fires, evacuating the people from the national parks. All these are being done by them. But however, most of the job goes unrecognized. This keeps them low on their motivation. So the government has to look and institutionalize the mechanism to provide for better functioning of the forest guards. Now coming to the dire straits. Yesterday there was a firing across the Park Strait and led to the killing of a fisherman from India. So this led to certain emotional situations in Tamil Nadu. So remember one thing. So this is not a problem new to these two countries. Traditionally, Tamil Nadu fishermen used to fish in the Sri Lankan waters. But the situation got worsened when the Elam War is at peaks, and 1976 maritime agreement also has made an impact onto this. So now, Indian fishermen cannot enter into the Sri Lankan waters and fish over there, but they claim their right based on the traditional fishing. Traditionally, they are been doing the fishing there for very long. Now, remember, the Sri Lanka has banned bottom trawling, saying it is unsustainable and it is going to kill all the breeding sites for the fish, and availability of the fish decreases over a period of time. And the next is the Sri Lankan Tamilians also are dependent on this fishing. So there is a natural conflict between these two interests. And so the way forward is we shall make this fishing ecologically sustainable, and Tamil Nadu fishermen shall find the alternative ways of fishing and then slowly shift towards the deep sea fishing. The Union Government of India shall provide them with the necessary equipment to go for the deep sea fishing. This is the way forward. And the next is staying cool. Remember this, The global warming potential of HCFCs is very high, and they're also damaging to the ozone layer, but they are not as damaging as the chlorofluorocarbons. So, as for the Montreal Protocol in the phase 1, we have introduced the HCFCs in the place of CFCs. Now, we also have to eliminate the HCFCs. The way forward is to create more sustainable refrigerants as the demand for the air conditioning industry is increasing in the country. So here we need to take up two aspects. One is technology and the second is finances. If you see the DuPont company and the Japanese major Daikin, they have got the patents with regard to artificial refrigerants, which are expected to decrease the global warming and also the ozone depletion. But however, this technology is not passed to the developing countries. The technology transfers play an important role in fight against these environmental conditions. And the second thing is the consumers also need to be incentivized to shift towards the new technologies. In India, there is an energy efficient building concept is not yet deep rooted, and public building audit has to be conducted regularly. So the government offices and public offices also shifts to this. In this context, recently government said it is going to fix the temperature that has to be maintained in the public buildings and also in public offices. That is a welcoming step. Now coming to the clarity the secret ballot enables. We always tries to simplify the narrative of the voting behavior of the people. In UP elections, if you carefully observe, the voting behavior, many articles have come up in alignment with the identity politics. But this narrative is changing. People are not just being guided by caste and religious identities. So today, voting behavior is more an exchange of the economic benefits, what the state is providing, how better these economic benefits are delivered to the people, that is making the people to judge the government of the day. Now in the UP, the Akhilesh has got and support to support from the voters majorly because of these economic benefits which are being given to the poor. And the second is the governance is part of the major debate. So the development, governance, and also the accessibility of the local candidate who is contesting the elections. These three are the things which are guiding the voting behavior of the people in UP. That's what is this article talks about. And then let's get into the Brexit debate. So leaving the continent, you know that Article 50 of the Vienna Convention, it clearly states the Brexit process, or else any country, if it wants to leave the European Union, it has to initiate the process. Once after initiation, it has to be finished within 2 years. Now, Parliament also has entered in UK in the Brexit debate. And the bill which is meant for the Brexit is passed by the House of Commons unanimously without any amendments. But however, in the House of Lords, two amendments are proposed. The one is the European Union citizens who are living in UK, they shall be protected. This is a unilateral concession which the UK Parliament wants to give to the European Union citizens. And the second thing is, the final draft of the negotiations need to be approved by the Parliament. What is the consequence of this? When the Prime Minister Theresa May has to negotiate with the European Union, it may restrain her, it may restrain the choices available to her. That is what is the criticism over here. Now, coming to the news page, you know that Compassion International, an NGO based in US, has was kept on the prior referral category. It means that if it wants to transfer any money to the local NGOs over here, it needs a prior permission of the government. And government accuses the Compassion International being involved with religious conversions, though it was denied by the Compassion International from time to time. Finally, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act also comes into this discussion, and it has been criticized that the government is misusing the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act to throttle the NGOs. So finally, Compassion International has decided to close its operations in India. And the next is the CSIR tech shuts down for lack of funds. So the CSIR Private Tech Limited, its aim was to commercialize the inventions made by the CSIR. But however, it has to shut down due to lack of flow of finances and also the CSIR labs not giving them the necessary patents to commercialize the products created by them. So it's a it's a sad thing which has happened in this country. Now, with regard to the Korean Peninsula, the tensions are getting mounted up. You know that recently North Korea has tested the nuclear weapons and missiles, and the only country that has the leverage over the North Korea is China. And North Korean leader Kim Jong un wants to show his presence and wants to test the existing relations between the South Korea, United States, Japan, and United States. President Trump has come in support of the Japan when North Korea has tested its missile while Shinzo Abe is on his US trip. So finally, China has come forward and states that there shall be a double suspension to break this impasse. The double suspension means North Korea has to suspend the testing of its missiles and nuclear weapons, and South Korea US military exercises need to be suspended in return to this. This is the double suspension formula which was given by the China on this matter. And I have given the notes over here: the dire straits, staying cool, and the mystery of police reform. So, the police reform is an important topic, and remember this conclusion: police is a service and it is not going to be a force anymore. Then it means that it shall be an accountable, performing institution. And in the world, the Chinese double suspension we have discussed. Just try to go through this. Thank you very much, and all the best.